Welcome to renovatingrichesradio.com with your hosts, Dennis Rodriguez and Ricardo Rosales. The show where we talk about turning rags into riches.
We are not responsible if this is not a word for you. Read the fine print only. Do not believe a word we say. Results may vary depending on how much self-education and due diligence you do. This is only for the action takers and serves as entertainment.
Good morning, everybody. Renovating Riches Radio. It's back. First show of the year.
It's many firsts.
And
right?
From Rosenberg, Texas, we got us a new place.
Yeah. Looks neat.
And but the background looks the same. I know. We haven't changed that one. And we're here with Mr. Dennis Rodriguez.
And Ricardo Rosales. Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Happy 2018.
That's right. Happy 2018. We're starting the year the right way. We got a superpower today in the house. Superpower, Mr. Robert Kennon.
Yeah, let's welcome Robert. How are you, man?
Welcome to the show, man. Robert.
I'm doing great. Absolutely, man. Happy New Year to you guys, man. I'm honored to be here. Just to see the Rosenberg area, to see how you guys operate. It's definitely a pleasure.
We are blessed to have you here, Robert. I know you've been working on great things and big things. I've been following you all over the place, Instagram, Facebook, and you show nothing but closings, negotiations on the phone. This guy's the real deal, guys. If you're watching that right now, you need to go find Robert on Facebook and Instagram. He's showing true value when it comes to real estate transactions, okay?
How can people find you on Instagram? And I mean, is it just Robert Kennon?
Yeah, it's Robert Kennon, or you can go on the Real Estate Wealth Builder. You can find me on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Robert Kennon, Kennon.
We actually met Robert at a title company.
Yes, a long time ago.
Thanks to our friend Kelly. So hi, Kelly.
Shout out to Kelly, man. I love her.
We appreciate you doing this introduction, and you know, the energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As soon as we started talking, we knew we were in line with energy and positive thinking and positive mindset and self-development. And then we saw each other again. This time I was just by myself at another closing that we had.
Absolutely.
And Robert was there getting some documents processed and or closing on our property or whatnot.
Right.
And
seems like Robert hangs out a lot at title companies.
Well, that's a good sign.
I know.
Because you don't go to title companies just to drink coffee, you know.
And eat the chocolate chip cookies.
You're either selling or buying a house when you're there. So. I met with Robert and we kind of like hit it off. We started talking again about, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? And that's when I decided to go, you know what? I'm going to add this guy on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm going to find him. And man, I get inspired every time I look at his feed because he's just making it happen 24/7. It does not stop.
Well, let's introduce Robert and ask him, where this all came from. How do you get started?
I think the best question is to get started is, who is Robert?
Yeah, where do you come from, Robert?
Well, first of all, giving all the honor and glory to God. Again, I'm grateful to be here. And Robert, man, I come from the hood, man. That's what started me in this business. I grew up in a community where you couldn't dream. That's the dream of what some people felt in the communities because you felt like you were just stigmatized to those areas. So I had made a mindset shift that I was going to break that.
Was this here in Houston, or you were born and raised somewhere else?
No, in Houston.
You're local. Okay.
Yeah, South Side. I grew up through the areas of South Park, Yellowstone,
I know that
Third
area
Ward.
well.
Yeah, Ricardo has many stories about that.
Yeah. I used to ride around there a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I had some rentals down there, in South Park and Sunnyside. And
Okay.
77033 was my preferred zip code for a little while.
Okay.
Right now we're only doing one rehab around there, but it's not even 77033. It's the one right next to it. But yeah, I know exactly where you come from now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's my stomping ground. That's what my life was based around. All these years just coming up. So I wanted to see what I can do to provide something that will bring value back to my community.
Good. Yeah.
So I was already dreaming in the process, but I didn't know how I was going to get out the process. And through the story of my journey, that's how I was able to see it.
And how do you get into what you're doing now, like real estate? What got you there? At what point you said maybe real estate is the way to go? How did that happen?
Well, honestly, it was a place of genius that happened to me, man. Coming through the communities, you are embraced with certain people, and you are embraced to gravitate towards certain things, right? So in the process of that, I had to go through what I call temporary defeat that made me open my eyes to see real estate. I had the time to figure it out. I had the time to digest it, and coming from that hood perspective, I was led to go through federal prison.
Okay.
I had to go through those roads of being a part of something, and I went through the end part because it brought me to who I am today.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. So it was a rough start, pretty much, because you had to go through a bumpy road,
Right.
in order to basically find the highway.
Absolutely.
And so I like this one because this is a true story of overcoming defeat, obstacles, and becoming a successful person in today's society.
Yeah.
So-
Some people think that you have to be very intelligent, or you have to be.
No, you don't. I'm here. So
So this is a perfect example that you can do this if you don't necessarily went through a college or became a realtor or study something. I mean, anyone can literally do this, right, Robert?
Absolutely.
And you, just like you're saying, you came from a very rough environment, and were able to break through and do what you're doing right now. So tell us a little bit. So what do you do before what you're doing right now? Did you type of work that you did, so people have an idea of that you don't necessarily have to be super genius or smart to come up and be successful. You just have to dedicate time and effort and want to do it. So
Absolutely. And basically this is what my process was for me to get into position right now. Because a lot of people, you guys are, you can tell you guys successful, you guys got podcasts, and I'm seeing this as more put me in a position to, get on another level right now. And that's basically how it was back then. Being a part of, the streets made me want to be on another level.
yeah,
I was able to get to a certain level in the streets, and once I lost that, going through the prison process, I had to find me as far as, okay, how's I'm gonna humble myself and use the same mindset I had when I was into the, hustling. I was able to formulate that into something positive.
okay,
So before I got into real estate, it was a year and a half of the worst temporary defeat in my life.
I see.
okay, and what was that like? What tell me a little bit about more.
Okay, well, say that if you try, you beg for a job, but nobody won't hire.
Right.
Mhm.
Because of what happened to you before. They label you, right? You get labeled, right? Like, oh man, you're coming from prison, or you make these mistakes, right?
Right.
And now you know what? You're asking for a job, but go do whatever. And so you couldn't find something to do that basically put money on the table.
Absolutely. Yeah, and through that process, I was trying. I was putting out applications at Walmart. Thank you for not hiring me, by the way.
Yeah.
See, that's a positive. That's a very positive attitude right there. Some people.
No, don't get me. Look, he's absolutely right, man.
No,
So
that's what I'm saying.
the universe took him through all that process. He went and applied probably in every single fast food chain restaurant out there, Walmart, this, that. Now, what would have happened if he would have gotten hired?
He'll probably still there, flipping burgers or filling out the shelves, making no money.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
No,
Right.
I mean,
Nothing wrong with that, but he wouldn't be with the person he is today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that was more of the process that God was allowing me to go through, that journey, because I wanted to change because the pain I went through pushed me to greatness.
Yes.
So I wanted to utilize that pain and profit from it, profit from the process,
So at the time, things happen to people. They don't get selected for a job, and they think, oh my God, my life is completely ruined, or they're very negative. In your case, what we're seeing is that eventually you look back and say, okay, so I didn't get that job because it was not meant to be. There was another path laid out for me, and look who you are right now, what you're doing, which is greatness. But people need to understand, that things happen the way they do because there's like a purpose in your life, right? And sometimes we don't see that clearly, but then looking back, they say hindsight is 20/20. So looking back, you realize, wow, like you're saying, I'm glad I didn't get that job at Walmart because it allowed you to build and become the person you are right now. So I mean, don't just get discouraged by what looks like a negative thing in your life now, because it might be preparing you for something bigger and greater in the future. So just embrace the moment and right and fight for a better life, and then try to determine what is your actual meaning in or what's meant for you in life, and where should you go, and life goes like different weird routes. It's not always
so basically you went through federal prison, you got out of there, you couldn't find a job. What was next?
Man, it was like either I had to think. I said, okay, I got out of prison. I had to think because I felt like intimidated.
How old were you back then?
I was 20 when I got out. I was like 26, 25.
Well, it's about the same age I was when I got out of the Navy. So
are you comparing them?
Yeah, it's about the same thing, man. The real difference is I had to cover my back in the Navy too. So although it wasn't anything like where he was, I'm trying to compare age wise where we were, at certain points in our lives.
Right.
But so you get out of there. You're 26 years old. You can't find a job. You got all this desire inside of you because you've been successful before.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. You probably were successful at something that was not that good for anything else. I don't even want to get into details. Right. But what happened? Like when did you see the light? When did you find the light at the end of the tunnel? When did you see, what, maybe if I take this route, I'm gonna just lock onto it and follow my intuition.
Well, it took process after that because even when I got out, I had to go through more failures.
Right.
I had to find myself spiritually, mentally, and in essence to that, I had to end up going through more things that took away my time. I had to go through other stagnations that made me aware. Okay, I gotta change something. Because when I went through the process of federal prison, I was able to turn into my place of genius. That's when I got birthed to start reading a bunch of books.
Right.
My mom, thanks to my mom, she played a big role of that process, and that's what started birthing in me. I started reading all these different guys. I was one of the guys who stayed in the room, who stayed on the track with a book.
Okay.
So that process got birthed from there, and I started hanging with other geniuses, people who wasn't there for drugs, but maybe great in real estate or this and this. People just made mistakes. So I was being a sponge.
Okay.
So once I got out, I had it up in me, but I had to go through the process like Napoleon Hill had to do. He had to go through the journeys to write those books.
Yeah.
So I started finding myself. And I had to go through one of the biggest defeats that I had to go through that really gave me that confirmation that it was time to change. And it was the ultimate defeat where I had ended up getting shot, 8 times in a home invasion. And instead of me, I told God at that moment that if I was able to live, I would change. I would seek Him more than ever. And that moment,
this is incredible.
This is a real life testimonial. So
yeah, And that moment, man, I was able to revitalize myself. And from that moment of that year, man, it's like my shift came and I was completely done. So I started going on this journey to extract. I started going back to the old information, what I was reading, and I started putting into prospect. I said, okay, if I was big into this hustling where I gotta utilize that for this real estate, where I gotta build resources, I gotta use my negotiation tactics, I gotta use my influence in the communities where I'm known at. And those things start coming together, you know. So as I closed my first deal in 2013, but before that, it was a year and a half of complete straight. I don't think nobody ever went through this, like where you have to. I was married at the time, you know. So thanks to my ex-wife, she helped me through the process. As far as, you know, I was at real estate events with no money in my pocket, probably $20. I didn't have, you know, clothes, the good clothes of, you know, to fit the part. So I was changing clothes. Like I only had 2 casual units to where I was going to every real estate event.
You see, Robert, that's why I only wear this one.
Absolutely.
So I don't have to worry about changing clothes, man.
Yes. Yeah, man. So that's why I wear mine too.
Exactly.
So I can just be a walking billboard.
That's right.
But through that process, man, I was able to start captivating the things I needed, you know, to go along the way.
Learning.
Yes. And shout out to Lifestyles Unlimited, man. They gave me a big open view of my network.
Okay.
And from there, I was there every week. I started knowing, they even put me on their website, and I haven't even closed the deal at the time because I was dedicated. I was committed to come every week. I was going to meet somebody. I said, I'm going to meet everybody in here so they're going to know who I am.
Yeah.
Right.
So we can, I mean, this is, like I said, this is an awesome story, you know, a real life, you know, example of someone that made it through. But I just want to go or circle back because people like, you know, putting excuses in their lives not to do things. And you just heard what Robert said, you know, he didn't have the clothes or, you know, what he thought was necessary clothes to just mingle with these type of people or network at these events. And he was still there. And he had no money in his pocket, and he was still going like every week to all these meetings. So
the reality is the title for the show is gonna be called "No Excuses Allowed."
Exactly.
Because if somebody had plenty of excuses to quit was Mr. Robert. He didn't have money. He had more month at the end of his money. He didn't have the clothes. He had a record now because he'd been to prison. He was shot 8 times. Then he grew up in the wrong neighborhood or the right neighborhood, because now you might say, you know what, I grew up in the right neighborhood, believe it or not. But at the time when things are not going your way, it looks like it's the wrong one, right?
Right.
And then you wonder why, how come I had to grow up here? How come I had to be here? How come, you know, why? How come I couldn't grow up in I don't know, the Woodlands or Katy or something where it's maybe cleaner? Or why is it that God chose this family for me or this particular path, right? So Robert had every reason to quit.
Yeah.
And look at it. He's being interviewed today in our podcast because of his success. So I want to congratulate you before we continue to go, because this is I am inspired now. Like, I look up to you more than I was 5 minutes ago. Just because I know that your road wasn't easy. Maybe it was a lot easier for me and for Dennis than it was for you. But I know you're working on great things. So congratulations on your success, by the way.
Man.
And anyways, Robert, now you made it happen, man. You went there. You showed up with the wrong clothes. You showed up with not enough money in your pockets. How was your first deal? How do you pick that up?
Oh man, I still remember that. I kept the check for like 2 weeks, looking at it. I was like, man, I was taking pictures.
How much money was it?
It was $4,000.
$4,000.
Yeah, it was $4,000. And shout out to Mr. Kobe in the Woodlands. Closed my first deal with him. He was a fireman and part-time real estate investor. I'll never forget that moment. Him and his partner, Mr. Adrian, big guys in real estate in Houston, and Closed my first deal with them in October of 2013.
Okay.
Was the day my life changed.
October
2013. This is not long ago. This is 4 or 5 years ago.
4 years ago. And
you made $4,000 on your first. It was a wholesale deal.
Wholesale deal.
Okay.
My first deal. I made more, but I had to split it. I had to split it with my partner, so we made $8,000.
Okay, so you went JV. It was a little JV deal, half and half.
Yeah, half and half. You know, I brought the buyer to the table. He had the seller.
Cool.
You know, so that process right there showed me that
it was possible.
It was possible because I never had a job in my life, only for 3 months in my whole entire life.
Okay.
Only 3 months. That's only because the feds made me go to work when I got out.
Right. Which probably was a good thing, right? Because they want to make sure you were busy enough not to go get in troubles again.
Absolutely. So when that point came in October of 13, man, I said, man, hold on, it's something that I can do with this now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now I made $4,000 off knowledge, just process. You know, most people don't know that it only takes you actually doing it. You can talk about it all day, but you just talking.
Yeah.
You know, so I felt like I had to be proactive. So I didn't have a car at this time, so I was using my mom's car. I didn't have no, you know, my mom used to give me gas money, so I didn't, you know, a lot of people, I don't have this. I didn't have none of that.
Yeah, going back to what we're talking, and you know, you had all the excuse, or you could have all the excuses in the world, and you decided not to quit, not to fall into the, you know, I don't have a car, I don't have gas money,
Absolutely.
I don't have the right clothes. I mean, you just push through it.
Push through it. And
first deal happened, you made eight grand. Because in reality, that was the revenue, $8,000.
right,
If you would have done it on your own, you would have cashed $8,000.
right.
What happened after that? Like, how do you say, okay, now this is real? You look at the check for 2 months, you pray on it.
Right.
I want more of these coming into my life. God, I swear, I will do it right, and I will follow, you know, the right roads. Keep this coming. What do you do afterwards?
Man, get in beast mode. As far as my first thing I did, I went and bought some bandit signs out of my check.
Okay.
I went and bought me some bandit signs because I knew that was the only way that was going to keep me some more checks coming.
Right.
So I said I had to have a plan from this. You know, I knew by going to all those meetings that year and a half, because I've been got it.
Oh, you were ready.
Yeah, I was ready. You know,
you were ready.
Yeah,
you just didn't have the money to market.
I just didn't have the money to market. You know, so I was meeting people along the way. I was getting deals in the process of before 2013, but they wasn't under the right proper perspective with the prices. So
Right.
I was spinning my wheels, but it was good wheels because I was getting to learn process, making frivolous offers, and just getting to
Practicing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that what captivated me to be ready. And man, October 13, I closed another deal. Next month in November.
Okay.
You know, I made 2,000.
That's right.
So
So now you had 6 grand coming your way.
So I had 6 grand, and
That's half the salary for a Walmart employee in a year.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thankful. None of those jobs hired me. And I put in applications everywhere.
It wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant, man. So I'm glad that I can be here to, you know, share that, you know, anybody that's listening to this, man, whether you black, white, Hispanic, man, it's no
Chinese, Blackanese,
man,
yeah.
we all got opportunity.
So okay, Robert. So you went and did a couple of deals, got them under your belt. You got that confidence. Now you got money to put gas,
Absolutely.
maybe put a little down payment, buy a car.
Right.
When is it that it actually just went and started growing like a tree? When did it blow up? Because I know you told me how much money you made last year
Right.
at the title company.
Right.
And I said, okay, this guy's not playing around. He's the real deal. He's making some real cash. He's way, I'm not gonna disclose it. It's not up to me to say that. It's up to him if he wants to. But he's way above the top 1% of the country. Okay, so he makes more money than vice presidents and presidents of companies and things of that nature just on his real estate business. And he took maybe 3 to 4 years to get there.
Absolutely.
But when was the quantum leap? When was that tipping point that you went from, I'm trying to just get enough money to pay for bills, and now you're doing 3, 4, 5 deals, maybe you're getting mentorship to go do other things. When did that happen? How did that shift come about in your life?
Man, that's a great question because I was still going through defeats.
Right.
Because, just think about a person who ain't have no money in all these times. It's because I stopped hustling. That's why I went to the temporary defeat. I didn't want to go back to imprisonment or nothing.
Right.
So I said, that's gone.
That's in the past.
That's in the past. So when I got those checks, even though I bought bandit signs, but I wasn't used to no money, so I was spending as I was going. So it was just like I was throwing back and over and back, because I want to do stuff for people, my mom, and I'm trying.
Now you got money. You're trying to help other people.
I'm trying to help other people, man. So it was just taking. It's like a job. It's like when you get your check, it's gone.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's gone before you get the check.
Before you
Absolutely.
get the check.
It's already counted in your mind. I'm like, I got to do this. I got to do that. And I didn't need all this at first when I didn't have the money. So it's just a mindset that play with you. It's just the mindset play with you in that perspective. But I didn't really get my full capacity, and it's gonna be this is gonna be funny that I say this, but through that process, I didn't get the full capacity until July 2016. And I'm gonna tell you why.
A year and a half ago.
I'm gonna tell you why.
For about 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
The iceberg was getting big, but your financial thermostat was not where it was supposed to be.
Right.
Because you didn't know how to hold on to the money.
I didn't know how to hold on.
You knew how to make the money now.
Right.
Right. You know what to do to keep the checks coming.
Right.
But because you got a good heart, and your essence was to help other people out,
mm-hmm.
and maybe get some things that you didn't have before, like get you a car, a nice car, get you some expensive clothes, go to a nice restaurant.
Absolutely.
Take your things that you didn't get to enjoy because you struggled for a long time.
Right.
Basically now you are in there saying, all right, man, enough. I don't have enough money now because even though I'm making it, it's just going out.
Right.
And
it comes in, goes out.
It comes in, it goes out. I need to figure a way out to hold on to some, be wiser about my investments or how I spend my money or how I invest my money. And that took 2.5 years for you to actually even catch on to it.
Absolutely.
So July 2016, something happened. What was that?
Shift. Well, just to go back from now, like once I closed my first deal, I was being proactive. I was meeting wonderful people like you guys in the process. And as I was out there with a bottle of electricity, I ended up meeting a wonderful guy who I got a lot of respect for, look up to. This guy's big in real estate right now. His name Ryan, and he brought me a part of Home Investors. We Buy Ugly Houses.
Right.
One of the largest franchises in the
country.
States.
Yes. I think it's the largest one.
Yeah, so that catapulted me to a new level because I was able to be a negotiator, which I'm great at.
Right.
So
you were working for them?
Yes. Well, not for them. I was in partnership with Ryan. We, everybody is self-made, but everybody have their own.
So you had a franchise, basically.
No, Ryan had a franchise. He brought me on board to be
acquisitions
guy.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. So in that perspective, he believed in my talents because I was a beast in calling people. I used to call 50 to 100 people a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been having that mentality since way back then. So I met him along the journey. I was able to come upon Home Investors for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me the best training
platform.
Man, that I was able to see different ways of how to come to the market.
Mm-hmm.
And I still, you're thinking just because you're a part of this big powerhouse, you're thinking, things gonna change. But honestly, I had to be humble because it's more than what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because when those big institutions are part of you. It's other things that come along with that. But I still wasn't able to grow to the potential where I'm at now. But through that process, I was able to see and get inside more houses than a regular investor.
Okay.
Right.
Because Ryan put in the money for the marketing, and we won a national, the new franchises, we won #1 of the most bought houses.
Wow. How many houses did you buy with them altogether?
I haven't even did the numbers, but Ryan, we did a lot of numbers, man. We wholesaled a lot and we acquired a lot, in the process through his company of what I was a part of.
Right.
So I was still growing into the perspective. He was just my mentor, and I was seeing the insides and outs of how this really go down now.
Okay.
Right.
And something happened coming up to 2016. From my past, something came into my future.
Yeah, one of the skeletons showed back up.
Yeah, one of the skeletons showed back up in January of 2016 on the 20th of January.
2 years ago.
Yes. I had to go in front of the judge, and Ryan and all my private lenders and family came out. It was a situation where I violated. I stopped reporting to probation because I was so focused with home investors working 14, 15 hours a day. We was all over the city. We was all in Louisiana and other little pockets outside of Houston. We was going at it. So I just forgot about my personal life and just was focused on being in beast mode until this opportunity.
Right.
I wanted to show up and show out, let this guy know you got somebody great.
Right.
And it came to a point that I stopped reporting, and they thought I was above the law because I was with this big corporation, and they was like, well, you still got your personal side. So I was faced with that and didn't know the expectation of that day that I was gonna have to make a decision for my freedom.
Right.
And in front of the judge, in front of my partners looking on, I had to make a decision to turn myself in that day to not to have to face any prison time.
Right.
So I was faced to go to turn myself in that day at the height of my career for 5 months.
Wow. Okay.
Like not being prepared to, it's just like if you
let it all go.
To let it all go. It's just like if you walk out of here and you go to court or somewhere and they say, well, I gotta take you to another country right now. You gotta go right now. I gotta get my family together. Let me do this. I didn't have time to do that.
Right.
I didn't know that was gonna happen.
Wow.
Right.
So that was like a mind-blowing thing, and humanly you will be devastated. But the first thing I did once they handcuffed me and took me in the back was got on my knees.
Right.
And I knew God was preparing me for something.
Right.
So within that process, I was able to read 27 books in those 5 months. I was able to build a mastermind with the young guys where they put me in. It was a cognitive thinking program.
Right.
So I was able to give a lot of folks hope in the process of that. I was, so I didn't stop.
Yeah, because now you have something to show for. You're like, hey, look, man, I'm back here, but you know what? That doesn't mean I'm gonna stay here for the rest of my life. And I had, by the way, after the last time I got out of federal prison, I had success. I had success doing something right.
Right.
Which is helping people out transition from their problems.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into anything bad anymore.
Right.
I'm just paying for something I made a mistake for. But that doesn't mean you have to do the same going forward.
Absolutely.
So you are being an example now in a place where it's a lot of negative, negative feelings because people are down, people are depressed,
right.
They don't want to be there to begin with. But now you're there. You know what? I'm gonna show you the light. I'm gonna show you the light on what it is possible for somebody like you and I, because you can relate to them.
Right.
Probably grew up in the same neighborhood or a similar neighborhood, went through the same problems, selling the same stuff,
Right.
I mean, you can relate to them at so many different levels to say, but by the way,
there's an exit.
there is an exit, and I just found the tunnel, and the light is right there at the end of the tunnel, and here I am to show it to you. So you went there, you paid your time, whatever, I don't know, did you do the 5 months?
It was 5 months.
Okay.
It's supposed to have been 3 months. And by process of bed space, it ended up being 5 months.
Wow.
And that's when I got out in July. I think it was June or July, but one of those. July, yeah, it was July, like July the 5th or 7th or something.
All right. So you get out of jail, but now you good.
I'm good.
Now, did you have to go back and report again? Or
No, I'm gone.
You paid it.
Yeah. I paid
And you
for
say,
it.
okay. So what happened then? Did you go back to Homevestors? Did
No.
you say, you know what, I'm gonna go do my own thing? What is it?
Well, through that process, it happened. It was like God was allowing this to happen to teach me something. So going back through the 5 months was still birthing me because I was still closing deals from in there.
Right. Okay.
You know, my partner Ryan, we was still doing stuff. He'll call and
Hey man, I gotta give it to the guy. I mean,
It's crazy. Yeah.
they kept on working together even though he was locked up.
Yeah.
You know, so shout out to Ryan. I don't know Ryan, but
Yeah,
you know,
Ryan DG Funny, man.
I've heard that name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I've met him.
yeah, I've heard the name. Okay, perfect.
Is he also a realtor?
No, he's with Homevestors. No.
But not a realtor?
No.
Okay. All right. Ryan, shout out.
Absolutely. And through that 5 months, that was really captivating me to think differently. Even though I got all the experience in books and closed deals then, I went there, I was happy. Instead of somebody being depressed or something, I was happy. More because I knew I wasn't there for something wrong.
Yeah.
It's something that happened from the past and I just was focused until my
Yeah, it's a
passion.
technicality.
Right, right.
Hey man, it was a little, maybe a little reminder
That's what it was.
of don't forget about where you come from. Don't forget about where you're headed. And if you misbehave, this was gonna happen again. So you gotta come here and pay a little bit of time. That way you don't forget about
Or
it.
maybe that was the way I'm seeing it. It's like that was the master's degree. So first you did your bachelor's, went out, worked a little bit, and then you had to go back to do your master's. Because, I mean, you read, what,
27.
27 books. So talking about, taking advantage of a negative situation and turning it into a positive one.
Yeah.
He took a break from his business to learn more and get his master's degree.
And not only that, he was rewiring his brains the right way, because all that stuff you're reading, man, even whether you want it or not, you read those books, and those books are gonna make a shift on your brain cells.
Absolutely.
And we always tell people,
Read.
You don't necessarily have to spend the thousands of dollars on a seminar. Pick up a book, learn something out of anything that you gets in your hands.
But I do tell people to go spend money on seminars because they help you. They work.
Absolutely.
If it wasn't for seminars, I don't think I'd be here today. To be honest with you, Dennis, he's more of a reader. He likes reading, and that's how he's been training himself. But all right, you got out of jail, man.
For a second time.
Second time around.
Now he has a master's degree.
Now he's got a master's degree on. Actually, no, he was there more teaching than anything else, right? Because you were empowering others.
Yeah, I had
maybe to find a better way.
I had a mastermind group that we started. It was a bunch of dorms, and it was like 37 people to a dorm, and we was the number one dorm that was there because I was. We had a table, and if I didn't watch TV. I haven't watched TV in like 4 or 5 years now. Just straight YouTubes and stuff like that. And I started a group where guys wanted to just be in my mastermind because I had my mom sending me so many books to fill the dorm up. So everybody, it wasn't no fights or none of that because everybody was busy with their book. Walking to the lunchroom.
They were reading. That's it.
Yeah.
They had a job to do. You had them all lined up. Say, look. We're gonna go here and put a lot of that venom on your brains to shift your mindset. So when you get out of jail, you're gonna be a better person. Robert, I guarantee you, man, some of those people that you touched are gonna go do great things because of you.
Absolutely.
It was probably the purpose, God, the universe wanted you to go back.
That's right.
You've learned so much that you need to share that with the people that were in your situation, long time ago, or they're doing time because they were at the same level you were. So it's just a way of the universe telling you,
or not telling him, but utilizing him to help others.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way I see it.
Right. And I felt that in my spirit on because it came to me, man, because I'm always in prayer. I'm always into my word, giving God the glory, no matter what, money. I'm not driven by money. I'm driven by destiny and vision, and purpose.
Right.
You know, because I made, you know, hundreds of thousands back then when I was 19, 18 years old.
Right.
You know, so, and now I was able to.
In a different wholesaling operation.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and right now, man, once I got out and me, you know, wasn't being a part of Home Investors, that wasn't in the best interest for me. So I had to go through that so I can be, because being who I was able to do a lot of damage control in this business, and I had all these stigmas upon me because of this company and stuff.
Right.
Because now it makes sense why I had to go through that, because if I would have had to still have them a part of me right now, they'll have a part of my wealth for what I captivated now.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so now I feel like that moment prepared me to go out to be more self-made on my own.
On your own.
And that gave me the energy, being a part of guys like Ron and seeing other big guys who I study. There's a lot of guys I study, but they don't know that. And you know, even in my field and outside my field, you know, and I was inspired. I said, if I was able to, you know, close my first deal in 2013 and make 100,000 in 2014, make another 100,000 or something in 2015, man, what I can do now on my own now that I ain't got all these people in my mix.
Eating from your paycheck.
Right. And I want to shout out to a wonderful lady from China who been with me since the start of this. You know, we closed a lot of deals, man, and she came to see me when I was incarcerated in my 5 months violation. And that's a lady who really helped me captivate my life, because she started lending me money, and I was able to secure more things on my own, you know, through her, you know, funding, and that what captivated me to have a different perspective. So once I got out, me and her teamed up more. As far as me, still me doing me, but I teamed up more to have more, you know, more funds available
Access
to go.
to cash.
Yeah,
Access to cash.
to do more in the marketplace. And I got other mentors who did wonderful things along the journey. We'll be talking all day. That's why I'm doing a book about my life and how it through the process I was able to profit, you know, handsomely in different areas. But in essence to that, when I got out, I was able to, you know, it was like I took a week and didn't do nothing, because I was studying and reading all my old emails of new, you know, I was going to, you know, little classes, real estate classes, just seeing what's new. And I had a plan. You know, I'm big on goals. I'm big on goals. And once I got out, I said, man, I need to, one of my goals I wrote when I was in Darryl, that I needed to make $30,000 a month in wholesaling. You know, so I needed to, you know, own more properties now on my own. So, man, I just wrote the vision, man, in July of 16, August, September, man. It's like I put everything in full motion. I started doing my marketing. I started, you know, building my team, because I had to start everything over.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
I had to start everything over, and I still have my contacts. I got 2 wonderful private lenders that I do business with right now on outside of my business. They sisters, and we've been a team since day one. You know, through I met a lot of wonderful people along my journey, man, that believe in me, know my story, what I've been through, and they don't look at me no different. They just believe in my talent and my vision and what I want to do to the communities, and to give people like the viewers on this show inspiration to know that it's possible, no matter the circumstances, no matter the events that we go through. You know, as long as you can build resources and being able to talk with people and being able to just go out there and fail your way to success. You know, that's what I had to do. So, man, I did the impossible, man. I said, you know what? I got to start calling 100 people a day. I got to start going door knocking more than any other investor. I got to start doing radical things that was going to make my phone blow up. And I like when people curse me. I like to get threatened and stuff, because that means I'm doing something. Right?
That's right. You're getting closer to that. Yes, you're getting closer to that, you know.
It's like they say, every no brings you closer to a yes.
Yeah,
yes.
some will, some won't. So what? You know,
Someone's waiting.
Someone's waiting. That's right.
Absolutely.
So you hit the 30 grand. You hit the 30 grand a month when?
Yeah, I hit the 30 grand in like September, October, man. September, October, it was back to back. You know, it just started going back to back. And man, you know, coming into 2017, I was just in high gear, you know, and I just said, I had to go. I said, man, I'm just spending on marketing and saving. I'm not spending nothing. Literally, man, this gonna blow some people's mind. I was partially homeless after I got out because, you know, through, you know, being married at the time, I left my wife in the process of that, you know, so I was kind of, you know, homeless, going through hotels and stuff like that. So it was like I had to hustle because I had no plan on what I was gonna stay, because being an ex-felon, you can't just go rent nobody's place.
Yeah. It's very, very difficult.
It's difficult to have to go through people to do this and, you know, have people all in your business and stuff like that. I didn't want to go back and stay with my mom, grandmother, my brother, anybody like that. I wanted to figure it out. So it's like I didn't tell them what I was going through behind the scenes. They still, you know, think I was, you know. So it's like it forced me to have to be in the marketplace. And man, I just started getting crazy deals, man. Every foreclosures list was coming out. I go knock on everybody's door. Man, I was getting so many deals. I would go to the probate court, sit up there for 4 or 5 hours till I figured out, talk to a ton of attorneys, probate attorneys. You know, and I was just going into the communities. Everywhere I go, I was being a walking billboard. Every person I see, I'm telling them, hey, I'm in real estate, and I'm giving them my card. You know, every male person I see in the community, I'm stopping, I'm giving them cards. I was just putting myself out there, you know.
Yeah, like you said, beast mode.
Yeah, you know, and man, then 2017, that's when God opened up the floodgates for me, man. I started doing $100,000 a month, you know. Not just in wholesaling, I started buying property now. You know what I'm saying? I bought close to 17 houses with my own money. No private money, no loans, my own money in 2017. So,
so you check this out. He goes to jail, pays some time, then he goes back in it, then he gets out, then he's like, man, I'm a little lost the first week. He's trying to catch up, play catch up. Then he's trying to go see what everybody else in the market is doing. Then he loses his marriage, basically. And he starts living in motels and places like that because of his record. Nobody will rent a house to him. Although if you would have called me up, I would have hooked you up. I got some rental property. And basically, you know, he's bouncing from one side to the other one, but his mindset is saying,
keep going.
And this is for a purpose, and now I got to go eat the world, right? And for the most part, most people at that point will drop down and pretty much give up on anything and adopt that lifestyle to where they really have nothing because they accept failure as part of their future. He didn't do that. He said, you know what? I gotta go knock on doors. I gotta go get me on the pre-foreclosure list. I gotta go talk to lawyers. I gotta do all these things. And I got my goal of hitting $30,000 a month in income. And he gets there. And then he goes and says, you know what, I'm on beast mode. I might not have the perfect apartment. I might not have the perfect car. But I want to go and hit $100,000. $100,000
a month, guys.
A month. You're looking at a person that had every single reason on why to quit the business. Why even to quit on himself, you know?
Right.
So, and he just utilized all the bad experiences to fuel his hunger. Man, you know what? I get all fired up just about talking about Robert now. Because it is incredible, man. You know, you get somebody that he's got all the odds against him. People would actually probably bet against him. Like I have people betting against me as well.
Right.
And you know what? You said, I don't care about what people think about me. My situation is just temporary.
Right.
And I'm just going to go after the 30,000. I might be broke today, but I'm going after the 30,000. I might not have a place to live, but I'm going after the 30,000. And sure enough, you went blew past that 30,000 3 times up. Then you go and say, you know what? It's time for me to go buy me some properties, and with my own money.
So
and then you go.
A person that could not get a house.
Yeah, he can't get a loan. I mean, if they check his social security number, all kinds of stupid things are going to show up in there, and the lenders are going to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we cannot give you this loan, Mr. Robert."
No, but I'm saying someone that could not get a rental place now it's buying houses.
Buying houses with the cash he's making from real estate wholesaling.
That tells you something.
That tells you something, you know, and you're going to look at a multi-millionaire in the next couple of years, guys, if he's not already one. I don't know about that, but...
And let's talk about that. You know, he said, Robert, you mentioned your big in goals, so what's next?
Well, you know, I'm going to interrupt him for a little bit before he gets on it.
Why?
So I saw Robert hanging out with Uncle G, Mr. Grant Cardone. So he went and paid for some training, one-on-one, right, Robert?
Well, it was a part of the, like, it wasn't one-on-one. It's like a
mastermind.
Anytime he has something, I'm there. You know, the movement, the 10X movement is something that makes me feel, because that's what I was back then. I didn't know it was 10X though.
And you both have kind of like a similar background, because I know Grant Cardone also served some time, if I'm not wrong, and he was doing the drugs and all that back when he was in his 20s. So you see the similarities there.
Right, absolutely. You know, that's how inspiration is. You find somebody that you can be compatible with, and just somebody that can spark your interest.
Yeah.
And I research a lot of guys and his movement. I've been on Grant Cardone before who he is right now.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been on his movement like since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I've been inspired, I've been impressed, and it just started manifesting.
Right.
You know, and the last 10X I went to, I had the honor to meet him and his wife and all, you know, a lot of other phenomenal guys, you know, that I was able to network with, who I still got relationships with now from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And those relationships, that's why I love going to pay for seminars, because we get to meet quality people.
Exactly.
You know, people that take out their time to go to a real estate event and they pay for it and have to lead a family. That's somebody I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my perspective. And, you know, the information that he provided me, man, you know, really 10X my business,
mm-hmm.
you know, in my life. And, you know, and I just want to point this out that, you know, like you can read a book and you can feel it, but you got to actually put the steps into process first. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody just think you can just go, you know, just go to the big stop. I mean, to the big level, but you got to go through the processes first.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And that's what I stay in my lane. I'm humble, man. You know, I got the same truck from 2015. And since I was able to overcome my, you know, financial circumstances, I got options now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My place where I stay in a loft, and my private lender, you know, was able to put that in her name for me just to bless me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I could be comfortable. I could have stayed in one of my houses or whatever, but me being, you know, who I am now, and, you know, not having a family, I felt like I just needed to still, you know, be, you know, in the marketplace around where I can still be dominant, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's why I took the route to rent me a place now instead of buying me somewhere where I want to stay.
Right. All right. So straight up, I don't even know what to call this show anymore, because I've got so many ideas.
No excuses.
I will go from no excuses number 1, from felon to millionaire number 2, from being down to being up number 3, to be inspiring others, because I know Robert has got a lot of people following him now, and he's teaching other people on how. He's actually got somebody here with us in the studio that is following his footsteps. So, guys, there's no excuses on why, whether it's real estate or whether it's insurance or whether it's sales or whether it is getting a job or whatever it is that you want to do. There's no reasons on why you can't accomplish it.
Mm-hmm.
Because this person right next to us here today, we're honored to have him. he had a lot of reasons on why not to continue and why not to do it, and he's been a perfect example on how to go through to be defeated and then defeat his circumstances.
Absolutely.
And now he's got options. I love it. I love it because he's got options. You know what? That's the word of the day, man. I got options.
Absolutely.
I got options. How many of you listening and watching can say you got options? No, many of you are actually trapped on a job that you can't get out of, or maybe you're trapped on a situation that you can't get out. But it's because you choose not to.
Right.
There are ways out, and this is
Yeah.
a perfect example.
He chose otherwise. Will it always be pretty? Probably not. Maybe he's gonna have his up and downs. But you know what? His mindset is where he's supposed to be. And he's gonna go through whatever comes his way because now he's defeated the worst part, which was himself at the beginning.
Absolutely.
Anyways, what goes forward for Robert? What's
next?
What's next, man? Where are you going? Where are you headed? I want to see that picture. I want you to paint that picture for people to understand.
And then talk a little bit about the book, because he just mentioned he's writing. He wants to share his story with the world. So let's go first. Real estate wise, where are you going next, or any investment at all? Because I'm pretty sure you're doing things now that you have options.
He's got options.
Right. You got, and that's the normal thing that happens. You start doing one thing, you get really good at it, and then you start looking at what else is out there, and then you start learning about other investments. So tell us a little bit about 2018, brand new year. We're just started, second week of the year.
What's the goals for 2018?
2018, man, I want to own more apartments.
Okay.
So start acquiring property then.
Absolutely. So I bought houses all in 17, 16. So now I said I want to step it up. I have bought, I wholesaled probably 7 or 8 apartments in my career, and I was able to buy one and turn around and sell it, make a profit. So that inspired me that I need to go after apartments like I go after houses.
How big are these properties? Just to have an idea, when you say apartments, it can be like 4-plex, or it can be a 300 unit project. So what are we talking about in terms of number of units?
Well, the number of units on my goal list, I like to acquire 100 units.
Okay, 100 unit
100
project.
units. Yeah, 100 unit property. And what gave me that mindset, man, because I was able to put myself in position to sell certain amount of units, 100 units, 72 unit, 28 unit, 22 unit, so I was able to get process of training, talking directly with the sellers, negotiating those deals, and structuring those deals and seeing how other investors come in and buy the deals, what cap rates and return on investments and the profit and loss statements. I needed that information captivated me now to know how to go out my own.
Okay.
In the process of my journey, I was able to meet a wonderful guy, man, multi-millionaire, come out my neighborhood. He grew up in my neighborhood, his family, but on the rich side, off of McGregor, all the $1 million houses off McGregor over there. He grew up over there. And this guy, who built wealth, massive wealth in those communities, he's my mentor now.
Okay.
Through the laws of attraction, I was able to meet him one day by chance 2 years ago, and I kept calling him every month. I didn't ask him for nothing. I was just asking him, I asked him 3 questions. What books he reading? What would he do different? And what advice can he share with me? I asked him that every month. He gave me something different. And building powerful people behind you and being in those conversations made me think, okay, it's cool to be a self-made millionaire, but I want to go to the, I want to be a multi-millionaire now. You know what I'm saying? And being around him pushed me to, and with his support, that I can go to those levels to acquire what I, would like to have for myself. So my first goal this year was to buy 45 houses. And the reason I got 45 houses on that goal is because they used to call me 4-5 back then.
All right.
So
that's my little nickname.
Yeah.
That's another story.
We can save that one for the next episode.
So that I have a goal to buy some more houses, and I want to get my 100 unit. And also, my biggest ultimate goal that means a lot to me, I want to build mastermind facilities in different parts of the community for the kids, because I feel like we're distracted right now by social media, by the TVs and all these buffoonery shows and stuff, and the kids are not dreaming no more. So my vision is to come into the communities and build mastermind facilities that give kids mindset, worlds of unknown limits, and give them something to go to. Even if they're in those demographics, they can dream. They can come here, and at least they can dream and be into a whole nother world. I don't care if they dad on drugs, mama don't got a job. They can come here and dream, and I want to be that support. My team and others want to be the support to push them, and I want to give them incentives that if they read these books and really digest it, they can be something. They can go to the places where they need to go. So that's my big ultimate dream. I want to put these mastermind facilities in the neighborhoods where I did a lot of devaluing in the communities.
That's awesome.
We'll be able to help you with that, Robert. Anything you want from us, you just give us a call and we'll be there to assist.
When you get your charity, put together, just let us know, or it doesn't have to be a charity. Whatever you decide to do, just let us know. We'll be more than happy to be part of it.
I appreciate that.
Any events you put out, we'll help you reach that goal, because that's amazing. Helping the community, giving back.
This is one of the best ways to start the year, man. This is a great inspirational story from Robert Kennon. How do you say, Kennon or Kennon?
Kennon.
Yes, sir. Robert Kennon. Robert, how do people get in contact with you?
Well, they can call me at my number 281-305-3106. That's 281-305-3106.
And we're gonna have his information at the bottom, so when you go to YouTube and to watch this video, it's gonna be there. I don't want to leave Robert without he gave us a hint, and I want a little bit more. You said you're writing a book. You're telling your story.
Right.
How are you in that process? When it's gonna go out? And it'll be wonderful to get a copy.
Absolutely. Man, I've been writing in my journal since I was in prison.
Okay.
I got journals, man. And I actually been reaching out to different publishers.
Okay.
I was gonna come out with it, but I said, you know what, I need to go do some more processes. So, because it's just some stuff, and I'm always in prayer, man. So I'm getting direction from God. So when it's time, I know it's gonna be time. But that book, I want to kind of give like an indication, not to impress people, but to press upon.
Yeah.
No matter the circumstances, no matter the capital, no matter the resources, no matter the clothes, no matter the vehicle, no matter the education, you can still make it.
Yeah.
And I felt like I went.
But now you got options.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now you got options, Robert.
The title of
one of the things is I'd rather to show up to my problems in a limousine than walking, So that way we got options. But anyways, guys, we've come into an end, okay? That's why I asked Robert how to get a hold of him. You can look him up on Facebook, Robert Kennon, Facebook, Instagram. What's your Instagram username?
It's Robert Kennon, it's Real Estate Wealth Builder.
Right. And follow Robert, man. I get inspired following Robert. I see him exercising at 2 o'clock in the morning, I see him like, oh my God, what is Robert doing? He's running, 10x. He's straight up. His mindset is where he's supposed to be. He's got a company called We Value Solutions, LLC. And I don't know if that's your website, We Value Home Solutions.
That's at gmail.com. That's my email. My team is putting together my websites and stuff now. I'm going to be out putting more value to the marketplace.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah. Right. So We Value Home Solutions at gmail.com. And if you want to type him an email, I'm pretty sure he'll have 5 minutes to respond to any questions you may have. Do you do any coaching, Robert?
You know what? A lot of people been responding. I got one of my students here. He was like me back then.
Okay.
He kept calling. I was like, man, go away. I'm just, I'm thinking he just gonna, I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm
busy.
Right?
But he just kept insisting, and he wanted a way to be a part of my mastermind, and I'm not charging him nothing, just giving him process.
Excellent.
I love it, man. You are adding value to the community. You are adding value to other people's lives. You added a lot of value today. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that will be able to listen to this podcast or watch the video and say, you know what, if Robert can do it, I definitely can do it.
Pure inspiration.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you so much, Robert.
With that, thank Robert. Again, wonderful story. We can't be happier to have you here. Thanks for coming and joining us. And with this, we're going to say bye till the next one. Happy New Year to everyone. Get your goals.
Hey, if you haven't written down your goals, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
Set up your goals. Put them in writing. When you write goals down, that means you're making a contract with yourself.
Yeah.
And your
Thank you guys, man.
subconscious mind knows that you're going to go and doing what you need to be doing to achieve those goals. So we appreciate you being here today, Robert. I know you're a very busy person. You took the time to come and visit us all the way on the other side of town.
Absolutely.
And we'll love to have you back in the future. God bless and thank you so much.
Thank
All
you
right.
guys.
Bye,
man.
everyone.
Bye.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Welcome to renovatingrichesradio.com with your hosts, Dennis Rodriguez and Ricardo Rosales. The show where we talk about turning rags into riches.